start with the topic that seems to have taken over the airwaves. It's taken over every single person's commentary, every brain cell that's out there. And I'm referring, of course, to the
The
Jeffrey
Fantastic
Epstein.
Four.
What's that?
I said the Fantastic Four.
F1. F1. You know, it's funny to those of you that actually got on at the very beginning. BDD and I were talking about the movies that we saw over the weekend. I actually saw F1. He saw Fantastic Four. I didn't see Fantastic Four yet, but I will tell you F1 is spectacular. Brad Pitt, who's aging, as we both acknowledge, very, very well.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, great storyline, a lot of action. Cinematography was fantastic, plain and simple. It was a great way, for me at least, to decompress over the weekend from dealing with all this. And before I ask BDD to give me his take on the Epstein debacle, the scandal, the chaos surrounding it, I want to just remind each and every one of you to please do us both a favor. Please make sure that you keep hitting that heart, keep smashing those red hearts. It helps. I don't know if you know this, B, but it helps the algorithm in order to ensure that more people come onto the into the community. That's what I was
I didn't
told.
know
I
that.
don't know it. I don't know it to be true, but that is what I was told. And that little square with the up arrow, that's how you share this program with others. So please do both. Let's build this community to something so big, so mean, so rough, so tough that we cannot be stopped. B, give me your response.
First of all, today he said, like, for a guy who claims to have the best words, he tends to say like the worst things, the stupidest things, like someone with half a brain would not say. Today he said he didn't have the pleasure of having gone to Epstein Isle. And, that's just one little instance where his handling of this Epstein situation is bizarre. It reminds me of like watching a movie and someone is being chased. And as they're running through like a kitchen, they're knocking things down behind them. They're pulling things off of shelves to try to, dissuade the pursuers. And you've never really seen him on his back foot with all of these different controversies. And he's had a different controversy and a different scandal for as long as I can remember. This is different because it's a scandal of his own making. He promised his supporters that he was going to have some Democrats to punish. Democrats, mind you, not Republicans, and certainly not him. So something happened between February, when Pam Bondi told Fox News that she had the list on her desk ready to review. And I know she's tried to clean that up, but look, she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer, and lawyers understand the importance of precise wording, right? So
B. She's
huh?
not just a lawyer. She's the
She's the
Attorney
attorney general.
General of the United States of America.
But Michael, you and I both know that she is not conducting herself like an attorney, like a traditional attorney general. He's acting more like a cheerleader than someone who you entrust the sanctity of the Department of Justice with. You know, and even Bill Barr, who I thought was horrendous, even Bill Barr seemed more professional at his job than she is. But anyway, that's besides the point. So between February and just a little while ago, the story changed from I have the list on my desk to there is no list. And this has opened up a breach within MAGA. Now, previously, he could do anything. He could kick an old lady crossing the street and not lose one single vote. But now the conspiracy theory that has helped fuel his ascendancy back into the White House, uh, it has caught him off guard because half of them are like, hey, Where's the list? You promised us a list. And they don't really care about protecting kids. Let's be clear about that. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about the 13-year-old girls who were abused horribly. They care about penalizing liberals and punishing Democrats. That's it. So since he can't deliver, he's trying every distraction in the book. Going back to the oldies, Obama, Hillary, John Brennan and James Comey, Washington Redskins, everything he can possibly throw. He's running through that kitchen, pulling down things behind him, trying to throw off the pursuit. And I don't know if he's going to get away from this. And I hope he doesn't. I hope he loses at least 20% of his supporters.
Well, even if he doesn't lose a single MAGA voter, for Republicans, the loss of the independents, that silent majority that actually gave Trump the victory, what we're finding now is they are aligned with Democrats, literally to the point that we've now seen, I think they said 72% of America believes that the Epstein files should be released unredacted, except, of course, for the names of the victims to protect them. That the bulk of that number actually comes from the independents. And again, the way that it kind of broke down in this past election for this 2025 election is obviously, you have somewhere in the ballpark of registered 100 million, and it's not exact, but it's ballpark. 100 million Republicans, 100 million Democrats, and then you have 100 million independents. That's kind of like the numbers, give or take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we ultimately found out. When you have 79 million Americans that don't vote, and then from the ones that do, especially on the independent side, voted something like 5% more for Trump than what was anticipated. That's what amounted to the about 2 million votes that separated Kamala Harris from Donald Trump in terms of victory. Imagine that, under 2 million votes. Now, we can turn around and we can talk about all of the various different items that they're trying to create, all of the spectacles that they're trying to create. But here's the problem, and this is Trump's superpower. What he does is he'll throw out 10 items, as you started mentioning, 10 different things, chaos from A to Z, right? All you need is one to be accurate. And then all of a sudden, that one becomes the denominator over the one issue. And then it's basically a win where he makes the claim that he's 100% right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, he's got it. He's got that. And I want everybody to know in advance. I'm going to share with you some info that's not out there. In my book, Revenge, I talk about the Steele dossier, about Comey, Andrew Weissman, and others. Let me be very clear that Steele dossier is bullshit. All right? It's bullshit. Now, there are some parts of it which are not illegal or fucked up that, may have, truth to it. But that's not the illegal part that they try to make of it. The Steele dossier is something that he will do a full-on investigation into, and it will turn around. He will turn around and be able to demonstrate that Comey and others were all involved in the advancement of this unverified, uncorroborated piece of shit document, for example, which included 11 allegations against me, none of which have any truth to it. And I say this, so I won't mention the name, but there is an individual who also was brought up regarding the Steele dossier, the Russia hoax, who sued the DOJ. He sued the Mueller team and the Mueller investigation, and he won. And he won. And
Mhm.
now the DOJ, they're going to have to reimburse him for all of his legal expenses, not the damage that they caused. But this is not going to go away. All right. This is going to be something that I believe that this administration, whether it'll be Pam Bondi, whether it'll be Todd Blanche, whether it'll be somebody there over at the DOJ, that they're going to pursue and they're going to push Comey and others to the um, to a congressional hearing. And you know what? I actually hope that they do, because here's the thing, and I want all of our followers to understand this point. Accountability has to go both ways. It needs to flow north and south, because if we want it only to flow south against Trump, it doesn't benefit us. We
But
want accountability.
there's no accountability for Trump. There hasn't been.
None.
He's been coddled, and he has been he himself has manipulated and gamed the system to the point where there is zero accountability for this guy. He got convicted of 34 felonies, and he didn't do one day in jail. That's
Well,
it.
okay, but B, we really kind of have to break it down. He has been held accountable. All right. Right now, as you know, Tish James
He's in
has
the White House. Where's the accountability?
well, that's on
Not only is
70.
he in the White House, he's in the White House being a fascist and kidnapping people off the streets
But
and
tell me,
doing all
please,
kinds of cruelty.
but
You know,
B, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I say it's the American people's fault, not Trump's. It's not Trump's fault. 79 million or 77 million Americans voted for him, knowing exactly what he did. And by the way, he didn't get away with it. For example, he was held accountable not once, not twice, but three times to E. Jean Carroll, right? He was held accountable to Alvin Bragg. He was held accountable to Tish James. There is accountability, but you are not wrong, my brother. You are 100% correct when you say that accountability will never put him behind bars, because, again, somehow 77 or 79 million Americans ended up voting for him, regardless of what was out there, for the one specific reason that they refused to vote for a black woman. And so, whose fault? Whose fault is this? Whose fault is it that not only did they vote for Trump as president of the United States, but they also voted for a majority of Republicans in both the House and the Senate, right? So now you have a guy who controls not just the White House with an iron fist. He controls the Senate because they're a bunch of feckless fuckers. He
Supreme Court.
controls the House because, again, feckless fuckers, now
Yeah,
run by a guy who is a complete loyalist, MAGA Mike Johnson. By the way, if I was president of the United States, to be honest, I'd want the exact same thing. He wants to pass his agenda, regardless of how cruel, inhumane, un American it is. That's his agenda. But here's the part again, when I say it's our fault, nothing that he is doing now, do you agree with me on this? Nothing that he is doing now, zero, is new or should be new to anyone who is paying attention. He talked about this. This is Project 2025 coming to reality.
Michael. Let me interrupt you for a minute here. Because you asked me whose fault is it, and yes, on one level, obviously, it's the voters. It's the voters who showed up and voted incorrectly. Also, the voters who didn't show up. Um,
Right.
But additionally, and I think this is a point that doesn't get made enough, the people who are reporting the news, the people whose responsibility is to keep us informed so that we make informed decisions when we go to vote, they have failed us time and time again, and they continue. They continue to fail us. Like, for instance, when he has these press briefings when he's meeting with a foreign leader. The foreign leader, 9 times out of 10, is too polite to fact check him to his dumb face. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Ali Velshi did some fact checking of Trump right after his thing, and then Jennifer Rubin was one of the guests on, and she said all too often, not one person steps forward to challenge him in that room. And that's important because this stuff, when it's broadcast on the news people take seriously, not reality TV and not commercial, the news.
Yeah.
And so when the news doesn't correct him, that's almost like a tacit endorsement of the
Right.
information that he's in the misinformation that he's passing on. So I think at some point we have to start holding our media responsible for failing to fact check. And you
Sure.
know what? He repeats so many lies. I myself could prepare, to rebut his lies. That $1.98 gas. Have you seen it $1.98 anywhere where you are?
No, in fact, the AAA has it at $3.15, I think is the national average. It ranges anywhere from $3.09, which I think is the cheapest in the country, all the way to, I think it's $4.97 or something like that in
Holy
California.
shit.
450. I mean, that's the range. It's not $7, $8 a gallon. But the reason why I turn around, and I'm not coming down on America, I'm not coming down on the voting bloc. Media, while I acknowledge, has an obligation within which to do what you say. That's to fact check and not allow the conversation to go left of Kalamazoo, right? They have an obligation to keep it straight, to keep it
Yeah.
factually accurate. But here's the crazy thing: the whole country, the whole world saw day in and day out the E. Jean Carroll trial. You could not turn on a television. You could not read a newspaper, pick up a magazine without it being front cover news. It was all over. It was trending for God knows how long.
Mhm.
Not just once, not just twice, 3 times. So it's not as if that information wasn't out there, right? That we need ABC, MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News, because fact is, between your various social media platforms, mine, Midas Touch Network, Lincoln Project, and others, right? We have a greater reach. Here's the problem, though. We're preaching to the choir.
Right.
What the Democratic Party failed to do is to go into the communities that feel disenfranchised. And I only say this because we do not have an opportunity to screw up again. To believe that if you are black or brown or Hispanic or so on, that you're going to vote Democrat. We own their vote. No, you don't. What Trump showed you is we could pick off small swaths from each and every one of these groups. LGBTQ plus community. For Trump? Really? This is a Supreme Court now that doesn't believe that you should have the right within which to marry, right?
Yeah.
I think that's called like the Blasingame case that's now being taken away from the federal right and then given to each individual state. What do you think is going to happen in a state like Alabama? If I can just finish one last point, and then I need you to chime in on this. It wasn't just E. Jean Carroll. I was on trial, subpoenaed twice. One criminal, one civil. Did that not make the front page news every single day for over 3+ months? And then the next case for 2 months? You're talking about almost a half a year. So the fact that you have all of this that was out there, and people still turn around and say, yeah, I get it, but I can't vote for a black woman. That's the problem, my friend. And
Yeah.
you know what? Um, I
They
don't
couldn't
even
vote for
know.
a white woman either. Hillary. They couldn't vote for Hillary either.
Well,
Boggles the mind.
yeah.
God. Yeah.
I want your take
Oh,
on the multiple fronts that Trump had to contend with, and then to be able to succeed in wiping out. It was almost like that movie Men in Black, right? Look into the light, and he wiped out the mind of 77 million Americans. Imagine that. So
yeah.
when people turn around, you know that expression FAFO, fuck around, find out.
Yeah.
It's why I am constantly saying to our supporters, to our subscribers, to our community, come on. We have an obligation to our children, grandchildren, future generations to ensure, even if I'm going to take Trump out of this equation altogether. The guy won the election, plain and simple. I don't want to hear people say to me he stole it, Elon Musk fixed it, it was electoral fraud and stuff. Stop. We don't play that GOP game. What I'm saying is right now, we have lost control over our tripartite system of government conferred by the Constitution. And we need to get it back, because unless we take the House and or the Senate or both, we're just going to have more of this come 2026 through the end of his term, where we are losing, losing total control over our government. And by the way, I'm going to say one last thing. He told us he was intending to do this. This should not be news to anyone. I was yelling this from the rooftops till I was hoarse.
Yep.
You yelled about this. You can go back to my Mea Culpa podcast where I've had, fortunately, BDD on several times. We both yelled about this. And
Yeah.
did people turn around and say anything? Did they do anything? No.
Michael, I'll tell you what needs to happen, right? Part of it is exactly what you said. Democrats do need to go into these communities where disenfranchised voters don't feel like their voices are being heard. That is absolutely true. Um, in addition to that, Democrats have to get tougher. And when I say tougher, I mean they have to understand that the game has changed to where we are playing by a different set of rules than the Republicans are. The Republicans have thrown the rule book in the garbage, and Democrats are still playing like, no hitting below the belt and no gouging out eyes. Republicans are like, yeah, you don't want to do any of those things? We're going to do all those things. So we have to be able to fight fire with fire and not be ashamed or afraid to do that. In addition to that, the most important thing is information, and we have to get better at communicating with our base, communicating to people who are not in our base, because like you said, it's not just about preaching to the choir, right? It's about talking to those other people who don't necessarily associate with or identify with liberal politics or Democrats, whatever. There are people who are just out there just struggling to put the next meal on the table, pay for their rent and stuff like that. They're just regular people who, they want to know, okay, how can I make my life easier for myself and for my kids? And we have to be able to communicate that and also communicate why Republicans are snatching our our Medicaid, snatching our SNAP benefits,
Yep.
making things difficult while giving all the breaks to their millionaire and billionaire pals in
You
power.
know, you've heard me say, and we talked about this again, both on my Mea Culpa podcast, and I've done many takes on my YouTube channel, my Michael Cohen show. What we need, what this new head of the DNC, Ken Martin, what Jamie Harrison, the former head, failed to do time and time and time and then time again, right? They just fail to do it. It's what Trump won on. Simplicity, simple messaging that you can go ahead and say to anybody out there,
Yeah.
and they will automatically know this 3-word type sentences. How many times have you seen Trump with the 3-word, the 3-word slogans? Build the wall, lock her up, mass mass deportation now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Sleepy Joe Biden.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones there? There's so
Well,
many.
obviously, he had "Keep America Great," "Make America Great
Yeah, and then he
Again,"
did again,
whatever.
right? But
Yeah.
my point is, everything that Trump was doing, you could fit on a bumper sticker on the back of their Ford F-150s.
Yeah.
Why are we not promoting something like hands off Medicare? Everybody should be walking around with, a sign that says hands off Medicare. What are
Yeah.
we going to do as a country? Think about how unfair 17 million Americans are going to lose health coverage,
hmm
right? How
And
about,
as a result, insurance is going to be made a lot more expensive for the rest of us. People don't realize that. It's not just that people who are on Medicaid are getting thrown off, and the rest of us are going to continue to enjoy our high rates that they're going to go higher as a result.
yeah. By the way, the number one slogan of Trump just dawned on me. How can I have missed it? The one that he actually used to win. By the way, you're right. Big, beautiful bill, another 3-word slogan. But the
Yeah.
one that he used in order to win the election, gasoline and groceries.
Oh, and the eggs.
Everything
Yeah.
is 3 words. He has mastered the ability to understand Americans. They don't want complicated policy discussion, which was something that Kamala and others would do. They're getting into the nitty gritty. People are like, fuck that shit, right? Gasoline and groceries, motherfucker, right? That's what it was
Mhm.
all about.
Yeah.
That's what he ended up riding straight into the White House. What about things like, protect our veterans? When you see a veteran literally on the street, when they're defunding, thanks to Doge, the Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
Seriously, any of this make any sense? Tariffs are taxes. Consumers
Yes.
consumers pay tariffs. These are just a handful, and these are
Those
the
are actually very
slogans.
good, Michael. I might
Thank
use
you.
a few of those for a tweet too.
By the way, BDD, my brother, you can use anything that I come up with. Just make sure you trademark it and give me the credit for it. But my point is, I got one more. America deserves better,
Oh
or
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Americans deserve better. And by the
Yeah.
way, we do. By the way, we do. 3-word slogans, and every person. So if I'm on television tonight, oh, Lev is on. Should we bring Lev up?
You can, but I got to bounce. It's 4 o'clock.
Well,
I
you're
have
not bouncing yet, my brother, because I want you to have the last word.
my last word is folks, pay attention. If you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention. Spread the word that Donald Trump's policies are making life harder for all of us, not just Democrats, not just independents, not just hey, what's up, Lev?
What up, BDD? What up, Mike?
It's good to
What's
see
going
you,
on,
buddy.
brother?
I was actually packing for my trip to Washington tomorrow, and I see my two favorite guys up there. I figured let me jump in and see what you guys are up to.
Amen. Amen.
Nice.
So BDD. Love you, brother. I got to get you back on Mea Culpa. I'll call you either tonight or tomorrow morning. Hopefully to schedule that, because I really want to spend a good solid hour going through everything. I want to talk about Gaza and what's going on there. I want to talk about
Yeah.
the hostages still. I want to talk about Russia's ongoing continued attacks. Right?
Can we
Trump's
can we
losing patience. So I'll let Lev jump in on that one. But
Can we plug my my Substack?
please do.
Folks, make sure you subscribe to Defiant Dispatches. There's a ton of great articles there. Um, Michael, thank you for having me here. Lev, it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Folks,
BDD, we're going to do this again. I promise you. I know you got to run. Love you for coming on. Thank you, pal.
thanks, buddy.
Take care,
Always.
brother.
Lev,
See you. What up,
Lev,
Mike?
I don't know if you know this, but the internet's been blowing up on us.
What happened?
I don't know. You and I are supposedly at war with one another.
People don't know what it's like to debate things and go and not agree on certain things. It's part of constructive. What's it called? That's what we're about. We debate. We agree. We disagree. We're not robots. We don't just go with blinders on.
Right.
And that's what's great about it. I know. We're here. I don't know.
I mean, we are. We're not Stepford wives where everybody walks straight in line. But the interesting thing that I tried to explain earlier is that we may not agree on the route to get to the destination, but Lev and I predominantly agree on the destination 99, maybe 90% of the time. Right?
Absolutely.
90% of the time, we absolutely. That's a stunning number. All right. So the fact that I may want to take First Avenue, you may want to take Third Avenue. Okay. We'll both get to the destination. How we get there, it's just a difference of opinion.
100%. And at the end of the day, listen, whatever works, if it's about what we bring to the information and people use it to help them out. Because listen, we're giving our life experiences, things that we know, and people need to use it to be, because at the end of the day, we all of us are on the same page, is we need to save our democracy. We are out there and we're all passionate about it. We're all passionate about trying to get the message out. But the one thing that me, Michael, we all agree upon is we need a unified message. We need to be able to get the Democratic leadership up in arms, to be able to wake up, to start, doing something about it, because they're real cracks. There are real things happening. I mean, Trump is off the rails. You could see by, that definitely he's triggered. Lots of things are happening. But look, why don't we put something together for tomorrow when I'll be in DC, and we'll do live from DC, because I'm actually packing. I just wanted to.
So look, we have about 12 and a half, 1,250 people with us right now. I want people to know, Lev, why my buddy is going to DC. I think it's extremely important that they understand, so that tomorrow, when you are receiving, well, no, I don't have least I don't have Acosta. We were supposed to do it today for whatever the reason may be. He's not available for our Michael Monday, so I just move on, because there's too much to talk about, to wait for just anybody. And I'll do it again with Acosta if he's around next week. If not, I will bring up somebody as well. But I want you, Lev, to please tell everybody why you are going to DC and why they should check in with us tomorrow, so that they too can participate.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. So definitely very humbled and very going to receive the 13th annual Whistleblower Pillar Award. It's for doing what me and Michael do here, is basically blow the whistle on all the stuff that Donald Trump and his cohorts are doing. I was honored this year. So Wednesday, the 30th, I'll be receiving it. I'll be in DC for a couple of days. There's some things behind the scenes that we're working on. We're trying to take the show on the road. And when I say show, I don't mean an actual show. I mean actual getting the truth on the road. But you heard us talking about it for a while, me, Michael, Malcolm. What we're trying to organize with some of the Democratic leadership, start putting some things and not wait for the last second, but start putting in motion. So me and Michael are going to be live from DC with Malcolm also. So make sure you tune in. Put your, I don't know, do we have notifications on here? I don't know if you have notifications, put them on. You know what? Somebody told me, it's interesting, Michael. So for you guys, there's a thing there. The reason why don't get people don't get notified when we go live is because we're not considered credible and from credible sources. So there's a box somewhere on TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, on Substack. I might be wrong, but one of the subscribers said, DM'd me and said to me that that they went and they checked my name on it. Now they get notifications going through it. But prior to that, for some reason, they weren't. So I don't know where this box is, what it is. Maybe you can find out. You're better, Michael, at this shit.
The one who's
Find
better
out.
at it is actually your son. So we should be definitely asking him. But
Well, I
I
mean,
will.
I'm finally going to get to see my son. For those of you that don't know, I don't get to see my son. Michael knows. I'm going to at least get to see him, and he's in DC, so I'm excited about that also. So definitely
Yeah.
excited.
Hey, Lev, while I have you, one thing that I just want to add to what Lev said, we're not credible information sources. Let me be very clear. All right. And I don't say this because Lev is on the other side of the screen right now. I don't think there are two more credible people who lived both lives, all right, on both sides of this aisle, who have gone literally to the far extremes in terms of ensuring our credibility. Like me, when you testify 7 times before congressional committees, all right, and the thing they get you on is the number of times that you allegedly spoke to the president about the failed Trump Tower Moscow real estate project when I said 3 and the real answer is 10. Well, you better understand I'm pretty fucking credible, especially considering everything else was backed up by both documentary evidence and corroborating testimony. So let me be clear. And Lev, maybe he didn't have 7 hearings, but he certainly had one, and there were no allegations whatsoever about, inaccuracy or lying. That I can tell you.
Not only that, Michael, but the crazy part is, if you take a look at all the interviews that both you and I did on every major network, international newspapers, Times, Washington Post, I don't see, obviously there's thousands of interviews because we're credible. So because we are the sources, so it's just foolish to even hear that. But maybe it's a mistake. I'm going to ask my son when I'm in there. I'm going
Did
to
you
try to
just say
find out.
thousands, Lev? I don't
Tens
think
of
you're even.
thousands.
I don't even think you're
Millions
thinking
of.
right here. Somebody from a news source reached out to me. They wanted to help me to promote both this Substack platform and also my X and my YouTube channel. They told us, "Do you know how many times my name is mentioned in news articles, literally since the Steele dossier?
Oh, I wasn't even.
Over 3.5 billion times."
Oh yeah,
No,
I
no,
couldn't
no.
even. Yeah, I couldn't even. I wasn't even. I was saying actual articles that like the New York Times would write, just like the whole thing based on what you're saying. Like I'm not even talking about a quote or mention. Oh, I could imagine. Yeah, but I'm talking about, just think about, Michael. How many articles? How many interviews? Just you lately, or what? Last week you were on TV doing
6 times.
That's what I'm saying to you. So how are you not credible if you're on TV, if you're New York Times, Post, all of them? What I'm saying to you is, it's all bullshit. But listen, I love you. I gotta run because I'm packing right now. I got a lot
Listen,
to do.
you call me as you're on your way,
Yeah,
please.
I'll call you. I'll call you from, absolutely, from DC. And everybody, make sure subscribe. Make sure you know the routine. Go get 3, 4 more people. Build this platform. We need to. Things are happening. We're moving. Things are working behind the scenes. We're gonna let you know what's going on. But we are going to go on the road, and we're also counting on you when we go to a city near you or a state near you. That you come out. That you support. That you do the work when we're out there, because you are our extension of our voices. And that's what we need you to make sure to keep doing that, because look what's happening. Everything we're talking about, you're doing it, and we're making waves, because now, like Michael said, credible. The media is reporting all that we're talking about. So anyway, I love you guys. Have a great day, Michael. I'll call you later. Take care, guys.
Please, safe trip. I'll see you, brother, and congrats.
Thanks, brother.
What a nice thing. So look, to those, Antonio, if you want the book, I don't know how many times our white people are having a hard time. There is a way to DM me. What you do is you go into my platform, and then at the bottom there, where there's the heart, there's something else. There's also something that looks like a paper airplane. It's a triangle. Oh, Acosta's actually live right now. Oh, I guess he didn't want me. I guess he didn't want to do Michael Monday today. What do you want me to say? I don't know. So let me just put it to you. Oh, with Tara? Great. So hypothetically, let me just be very, very clear about something. Oh, yeah. So you hit that one that looks like the triangle or the paper airplane, and you could DM me there and I'll tell you exactly how. By the way, from the last time that I was on, it was like 60 some odd books. I mean, literally, it was crazy. The number of people that did it. I'm literally going to now have the second batch going out either later tonight or tomorrow. So thank you to all of you. More is as important as it is, because it does help to support. As important as that is, I want people to know the story. I want people to understand, because no place else are you going to be able to get the information firsthand. Everybody else could sit and they could talk about what their opinions are. We created, people like Lev and myself, we created these scenarios. So when we're kind of giving you what's going on there, we're not talking hypothetical. We're not talking innuendo. We're basically talking history and comparing it to what's happening right now. And not every single thing is, and some people get angry at me for it, not everything is, the way that the media, the way that some other individuals are expressing it. It's just not accurate. It's just not true. But with that, my friends, I want to thank each and every one of you. Here, look, if you want to get the book, this one happens to be, sorry about that, this one happens to be the limited signed edition. DM me. I'll tell you how you can get yours. Thank you, each and every one of you. Not bad, right? Again, as Lev said, please do me a big, gigantic favor. Share with your family and your friends. Share this. Bring them to the community. Put on the notifications so that when we go live, you are with us. Linda, thank you. By the way, sent Linda out her book. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to test you on it, by the way. Most importantly, share. Share in these messages. How do you put on the notifications, right? Just so that others know how to do it. So I know how to tell people to do it. You could DM me. Linda, you have obviously my DM onto this. Let me know how to do it, and I'll talk about it, because I want people to get these notifications. I want them to know that we're coming on, and I truly, with Lev and Malcolm and even Acosta or Don Lemon tomorrow or Joe Walsh or on Friday with Jolly Good Ginger, I want people to join the community, because we're going to need it. All righty? Victoria, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Shy Fly, as always, thank you for being just constantly here, supporting this platform and supporting our voices together. Together, I promise you, 2026 is going to go the right way. It has to. Have a great day, and I will see everybody tomorrow as I do my Lemon Cohen report with Don Lemon.